Illegal immigration is when a person enters or lives in a country of which they are not citizens, violating immigration laws and regulations. Nayeli Valera, a sociologist with a degree from the Catholic University of Peru, who currently works for the UGEL of Metropolitan Lima in the Planning and Budget Unit of the Ministry of Education, will clarify certain questions about this controversial issue. Good morning, Nayeli, and thank you for accepting our invitation.
Thank you for the invitation. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yes, of course. So let's start with this question. What are the main reasons why citizens leave their country?
Mainly because there are weak labor system of precarious economic system. An example is Venezuela. Because of the inflation of a country, it is no longer profitable to live here. That's why many of the time looks of other countries in order to survive.
Yeah. So why do people feel the arrival of migrants to their country as a challenge in the workplace?
An example is our country, where informality abounds doesn't require experience of the ability to find a job. That is why faced with the arrival of Venezuelans, many are afraid to being fired. Many employers prefer informal work and not to make to profit.
Yeah, that's very interesting for the audience. So regarding social and economic characteristics, are there differences in the living conditions between the children of migrants born in the destination country and those of non-immigrants?
Yes, there are different anyway we talk mainly about migration of economics reason. In the United States, the undocumented deeply invaluable jobs such as agriculture, turning less than their North American counterparts because illegality allows the system of labor exploitation. So there is an important socioeconomic difference.
Apart from government offices, are there efforts to collect migration statistics from the private sectors of NGOs?
Indeed, the UN has the International Organization of Migration (IOM), which is the main multilateral entity that defines policy and intervention of the NGO. In Peru, there are a series of NGOs that work with the migrant population, mainly Venezuelan, but in the sense of Alabama property, they have a series of registers to transfer food or to work on the housing security issues.
According to a 1219 UN census, 1,512,920 immigrants, which represents 4.65% of the population of Peru, we are in the ranking of immigrants occupying the 67th place out of 195. How much could this percentage have varied regarding the arrival of COVID-19?
And that is something interesting because if one looks at the migration theory, there is a type of migration that occurs due to the natural catastrophe of destructive event in the life of a country, process of civil wars, of extreme wars, uh, that presently move refugees around the world. However, as COVID has been a global issue and we are still in the process of going through it, the number of migrants must have varied much.
Now I will give the step to my partner Daniel.
Good morning, Nayeli. It's a pleasure. In future times, given the case that there are countries more developed than us in terms of health and technology, could this percentage increase or decrease?
It will depend more on the countries that will always bring migrants. If you think of the United States, Canada, or Europe, they are always going to be attractive place to migrants. But I really depends a lot on economic stability of the job markets in Peru.
Also, according to this report, female immigration exceeds male migration, given that the female has 58.05% and the male 41.94%. What accounts for this difference? We the women migrate more than men.
It's quite interesting, and this report on a phenomenon called global curve change. Since ancient times, there has been a division is the job where the man wasn't giant in productive and industrial job, and the woman in reproductive jobs at home. However, in our modern society, the fertility rate has fallen, and today's women only have one to two children. This has increased the percentage for of adults who require care. So women have greater health opportunities in these areas.
Now, this large number of migrants is separated into two groups. Those who have been regular. Now, this large number of migrants is separated into two groups, those who have been regularized and those who are irregular. So, asylum seekers who are rejected, could they be considered as irregular migrants or enter a dirt camp?
They enter according to the classification that the World Organization for Migration has, the International Organization of Migration, IOM, in the third type of migrants called refugees, that is protected by human rights and international laws.
As for the rejected of asylum, which fulfills the function of protecting, though they pass into a situation of illegal or go directly to the group of undocumented. Undocumented. As for the rejected of asylum, which fulfill the function of protecting, though they pass into a situation of illegal or go directly to the group of undocumented with the advantage that they could easily access the documentation.
Yes, they have higher protection in host states in most countries. For example, there are many Syrian ones in Germany, cities who have hosts.
Finally, modern states do not treat all migrants the same, but rather select and differentiate according to their perceived national interests. For example, until the 1960s, the United States, Australia, and Canada largely excluded non-Europeans. Currently, regional organizations such as ECOWAS in Africa and Mercosur in Latin America have preferential rules for the admission of national from other member states. What does privilege selectivity imply?
It implies greater flexibility and access to other country depending on your community. On the subject of Mercosur, the possibility of without doing additional procedures, one can work in Argentina or Bolivia. Presently allows flexibility when moving or displacing families. On the other hand, there are certain immigration policies that quickly affect certain migrants over others, such as the United States, which accepts attracts qualified people from other countries because it is convenient. That is one of the immigration policies where there is discrimination or a separation between migrants who request residence or work permits, but who cannot contribute to American society as that considered it. Then there is a preference depending on the type of migrant, with their education level, and with their economic capacity.
Yeah, that is true. So thank you, Nayeli, for answering us. We hope you have clarified all your doubts.
Thanks for the invitation.